Hi guys, I'm currently in beautiful Bali and I'm so excited to be here. I'm here for about a month and I really love Bali. I lived here for about 2 years in the past, on and off. And I always love coming back to this place because it feels like home to me. I love the way of life here. I love the weather. I love the people. It's just a slower pace of life that I feel like we don't really have back in the West, at least in Canada. It's always, grind all the time. So I'm so happy to be filming in this beautiful location. I'll add a few shots of where I am right now. It's a beautiful A-frame little cabin with rice paddy views, and it's really incredible. So I'm so excited to be making this video out of this beautiful location. Today I wanted to share a lesson that I have learned over my many years of building my business and just navigating life. And that lesson is turning frustrations into joy and acceptance. Whenever you build something, whether it's a new business, maybe a new product or service, a new audience, or even a new self-identity, there comes a point where frustration inevitably sets in. Why does that happen? Well, because things always take longer than expected. We almost always have to learn new skills because setbacks are inevitable in any new endeavor. And because growth, no matter how excited we are for it, hurts. Also, please don't mind my hair. I have very thick, wavy hair, and with humidity, it gets a little bit puffy, but it's okay. We're embracing it. It doesn't matter. Getting back to these frustrations that we feel whenever we're trying to build something new, we have to remember that whenever we're building something new, we're pushing through a new paradigm and we're breaking the constraints of what has kept us safe for so long. Of course, that's uncomfortable. It's such a strange feeling to come face to face with your own limitations. So many times I've set out to do something bright-eyed and excited to bring to life what I have envisioned, only to get stuck at the first real challenge. But what's important to remember is that in those moments, we have a choice to push through or to stay where we are. Logically, of course, we want to push through, but in reality, it is incredibly hard to do so sometimes. For me, the most challenging part isn't the action itself. It's the thoughts that come with the frustration. My desire to move forward may be strong, but my mind starts challenging me at every turn. And maybe you can relate to this. Let's say I want to embrace a new belief about myself, such as I allow myself to be seen. I express myself freely through my content. Logically, I know I am capable of this. And logically, I know that it's already not far from my current reality. And I know by simply looking around that there are many people that are currently living this truth. So why shouldn't I? Why couldn't I? The evidence is there. I can do these things, but somehow my mind is racing at a million thoughts per minute and it's challenging me every single time. It's bringing up fears, it's bringing up honestly beliefs that I don't really think that I have, but clearly they're buried deep in my subconscious, and it's making it very hard to move forward. So usually it goes something like this. For the first few days, everything goes well. I feel empowered, I feel aligned, but soon enough, those negative thoughts start creeping in. Thoughts like, who am I to do this? Thoughts like, no one cares, no one is listening. Or even worse, I'm just wasting my time. That one is particularly challenging, and I feel like you can relate if you do have your own business, because there's just so many things that you have to do. So you really don't want to spend your time and your energy on something that you feel like is a waste of time. In those moments, it's truly when that frustration kicks in, because no matter how much mindset work I do, no matter how quickly I try to reframe those thoughts when they show up, they still persist. If only our determination to succeed was as persistent as our self-doubt, we would all be living our highest potential. It's no secret that I've been struggling to show up, to make these videos, to be on camera, to post my videos on YouTube. I've been transparent about it in all of my previous videos. So that's my frustration, but for you, it may be something different. You may be struggling with other things, such as charging adequately for your services, effectively communicating your value, or even just taking up space in your industry. And the frustrating part is that initial pushback. In times like these, what you have to understand is that there will always be technical difficulties, external setbacks, and unforeseen obstacles. And you always have a choice to take those frustrations as a sign to stop or to look at it as a natural part of the process. Recently, I've started to look at frustration differently. Instead of resisting it, I now see it as a sign of growth. Perhaps even an invitation to get better. I always try to remind myself, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. So with that in mind, I choose to accept. I choose to feel joy in my journey. The funny part is that whenever you do overcome an obstacle, you look back and you think to yourself, well, that wasn't that hard after all. I remember when I first started putting my content out there, I felt paralyzed by self-doubts. I'd post something, then I'd overanalyze every single response or lack of response. I almost convinced myself that no one cared. But the moment that I started to show up consistently despite the fear, I started to see shifts, not just in my business, but in my confidence as well. And looking back, I realized something important. The fear was never proof that I was not good enough. It was simply showing up because I was stepping outside my comfort zone, and that's where real growth happens. And don't get me wrong, I still have a very small audience, but because I chose to accept those frustrations and I chose to accept the fact that this is part of the journey, I changed how I look at things. So now it's not even frustrating anymore. I look at it and I'm having fun with it. I'm thinking this is a game, I can do whatever I want. It's so much easier to express yourself and find your voice when you don't have a lot of people watching, because you're not yet set in a box and people don't really have any expectations of you, and you don't really have any expectations of yourself. So now I'm looking at the exact same thing at my small audience and I'm thinking, this is freedom. If you're feeling that fear or frustration right now, it's not a sign to stop. Look at it as a sign that you're on the edge of something amazing. Entrepreneurship is an alchemical process, a transformation of self as much as it is about building a business. Just as alchemy turns base metals into gold, every single challenge refines us. The self-doubts, the resistance, the pushbacks, it all burns away what no longer serves us, revealing a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of ourselves. One of my favorite quotes is by Wayne Dyer, and it goes something like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So whenever I'm frustrated, whenever I'm feeling like I can't move forward, I try to think of that and I reconnect with myself and my purpose, and I try to take another look at what's happening and redefine what that means for me and my journey right now. Next time frustration creeps in, try this. Pull out your journal and write this journaling prompt. Instead of seeing frustration as a roadblock, see it as a mirror. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can this situation make me better? What's the next best step that I can take? I also recommend you try the evidence list exercise. Write down moments in your past when you have experienced frustrations and you pushed through and succeeded. This reminds you that you've done it before and you can definitely do it again. Finally, don't forget to reframe your thoughts. Instead of saying, I'm stuck, try, I'm learning something new and it's part of the process. Instead of thinking, this is taking too long, try, growth happens at its own pace. So now I want to ask you, what's a moment where frustration or fear almost made you quit, but you pushed through? How did that experience change you? Let's talk about it. Drop your story in the comments, journal on it today, or share it with someone who needs this reminder. I'm Vanessa from Zen, a branding and web design studio where we help you tap into your CEO energy and finally live the life of your dreams. I create content on both tangible and intangible ways to grow your business, whether it's through strategy, mindset shifts, or the way you show up online. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you soon.